But moving right along, you know what I mean? Because like I told you guys, just going back to that situation, the young woman that I had got herpes from.
Bitch, what? Bitch, what?
You know what I mean, was a young lady, you know what I mean, that, some of y'all remember, you know what I mean, in the beginning. All snitches and pedophiles should be killed. He called a case on April 17th of 2008. I was 23 years old at the time. I'm 37 now, but I was 23 years old at the time. I also want Brother Polite to listen to this, because whenever it's a situation like this, whether you're innocent, whether you're guilty, whether you was deceived, set up, whatever, as a man, as a leader, it's still your fault. Nobody wants to hear about Rolls Royce diaries, how many hoes I pimped on, the places I've had, the hoes that I broke on. Nobody gives a fuck when they hear about a 14-year-old girl getting pregnant, or a 14-year-old girl having DNA, on her clothes. So let me just say this, like I always say, like the word said, to whom much is given, much is required. Whether he's innocent or whether he's guilty or not, it's still his fault for even being in that position for that to happen. And I know some of y'all like, what? Yes, that's what should have been said. But see, we got so many egotistical, arrogant ass niggas that really just, you can't tell the forest from the trees when you moving in the spirit of arrogance. That what happened, that was my fault. Let me say this, everybody's not hating on me. Everybody's not hating on Sinful to P. Everybody's not hating. And if you would have spoke to the 23-year-old Philip Brandon Gilmore, that's Sinful to P, before I got arrested, and you told me that some 23-year-old guy caught a case with a minor in it, and whether she lied to him or not, or used ID or not, I was going to blame the adult, because he's still an adult. I would have told you that he should have known. And if I would have heard or listened or watched or knew somebody like me, I would have said he's too sharp to not know. He should have had enough discernment to discern the age of that girl. I apologize for the innumerable time. Let me give it innumerable in one. I sincerely apologize to everybody, to my family, to my friends, P partners, black community, I brought so much shame on my grandmother, on my mother, on my family. That was my fault. That was one of the worst times, Of course, when my mother died, I didn't feel like I'd go, but that was the worst time. 23 years old, facing life sentences, that was cool. That felt bad, but the worst of it all was coming to court and seeing my grandmother getting sicker and sicker because of this situation. My mother flying from Chicago to Vegas to all because of me. So I sincerely apologize. That was my fault. Of course, I'm going to give you the understanding and everything like that, but that still does not take away from the fact that that was my fault. As a man, I fucked up. Understand again, everybody's not hating on me. Everybody's not hating on me until I got into some shit. Hello.
Hey, yo, Finn, could you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Didn't you rape a girl 14 too? So what, you and Brother Polite have a lot in common, bro. That's why you ran a Kennedy. You ain't good in these streets no more, bro.
Damn.
Like, what's going on, homie? Of course you're gonna take up for Polite, because y'all both on that same kitty shit, bro.
Damn. Okay.
You feel me? Oh, but you was tricked. But I thought that pimp is supposed to be the equivalent of a fucking Harvard PhD, bro. Come on, you think your mouthpiece is that sharp? You gonna hide the truth from the people, bro? You a rapist, bro. You a rapist, my nigga.
You coming with it.
You trying to
you coming with
hey,
it.
Bro,
Go ahead.
Yeah,
you coming with it.
You gonna hang up on me because the truth hurt, and I'm cutting
it's
you.
Hurting
bro.
me. You cutting me up. Truth, I ain't gonna lie, you cutting me up, bro.
But it's like, bro, you would never be good in no pimp circles, bro, because they don't fuck with niggas that do shit like you, bro. You got a baby. The DNA, it was a proven fact, bro.
Damn.
You had a baby by that kid at 14, but you didn't know you was tricked. Nah, nigga. You had that spirit of pedophilia inside of you,
Damn.
Nigga. Stop playing, homie. Trying to make it seem like you a righteous nigga. Any nigga who supports you is a whole ass nigga. And if you got a daughter, bro, you's a whole ass nigga if you support sin. Because this nigga's a lame nigga. He's a rapist, and I'm a real street nigga. And I don't fuck with niggas like you, bro. Because, my nigga, you's a weird nigga. You think you just Mr. Spectacular, vernacular mouthpiece, like you gonna con niggas to believe in you didn't do that shit, bro. You raped that girl. It's all over the web, bro. The judge said That baby is yours. They took a DNA test, bro. And the bitch was only at the time 13.
That's what. Hold on. Let me just say this.
When the baby
hold
came
on.
out,
Let me just
14,
hold
bro.
on. Let me just sneak this in. And after all of that, if what you saying is true, that means all y'all some bitch ass niggas. Cause I've been in pimp circles and I was in the States before I came in here for years. Hold on. No. I didn't cut you off. I didn't cut you off while you was doing the Mariah Carey trying to sound like you was hard and shit. You know what I mean? That mean that all you niggas is some bitches because I got out in 2011 and I did not leave, you understand me, to Canada until motherfucking late 2018. So that mean that all you niggas is some hoe ass niggas. I've been in pimp circles. I've been all around the pimping cross country and you niggas didn't do nothing about it. You didn't do nothing about it. Hold on. That means all snitches and pedophiles should be killed. And you niggas didn't do a damn thing. So if what you saying is accurate by law, by street law, that means all you niggas is bitches. All you niggas is hoes.
Nigga, you have a secret code.
No. That means hold on. I didn't cut you off. That means that all you niggas is hoes. That would mean that all you niggas is hoes. Snitches and pedophiles supposed to be killed. You sounding real tough over this phone. Why didn't you? Hold on. I didn't catch no bullets. I did not catch no fades. And it sounds like you fantasizing about my dick.
Bro, you fucked that baby, bro. You fucked that little
And so you fantasizing about me fucking that baby.
14, bro. So now, nigga, you think your mouthpiece is that fire? Like you gonna brainwash niggas?
Let me hold on. Go ahead.
You did it. The judge said it in the video, bro. The judge said it in the video.
Damn.
So what?
She did, didn't she?
Nah, bro. I don't care about all that animated shit you doing. It's the truth, bro. So what? The judge.
Bro,
lying,
your voice
That's
is
why
animated.
You protect Andre Taylor because that nigga was on some shit like you, and now you protecting Brother Polite. Any nigga who got a rape allegation or a rape case, nigga, you're protecting because you know why? Because birds with feathers flock together. And I know niggas is trying to cut me up in the comment section because they brain dead niggas, homie, and they don't give a fuck about they sisters, bro. They don't give a fuck about they no little kids.
Let me just be
family,
quiet and
bro.
let you go in. Go ahead. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Nigga,
I'm gonna be
homie.
quiet. Go in, bro.
Like I said earlier, my nigga, the pimp is supposed to be the smartest man on the planet. How you ain't gonna know the bitch was a fucking little 13-year-old girl, bro? You was in your 20s, homie. What type of shit is that, bro? How could you look yourself in the mirror? That's why niggas, after they saw that video, niggas start cutting you off from Johnny Cash, Sly Clyde, everybody, bro. Nobody fuck with you, bro, because you a weird ass nigga. You weird, my nigga. And my nigga, you come back to like America, niggas gonna want to see you about that, homie, because niggas don't condone any of that, bro. Now talk, nigga, if you want to talk. But that shit you on, bro, it's weird shit, bro. You's a pedophile nigga, and you ain't good out here, bro. That's why you in Canada, bro. You's a weird nigga.
Page 1, Gilmore. State versus Gilmore, C244542.
Your Honor, John Paris appearing with Mr. Gilmore, who is present in custody. Today, Mr. Gilmore will be pleading guilty to count 1 in the amended information of pandering, and count 2, living from the earnings of a prostitute.
Okay, sir, are these the negotiations as you understand them? What's your true and full name for the record?
Phil Gilmore.
How old are you? How far did you go in school? You do read, write, and understand the English language? You received a copy of the amended information in this case, charging you with count 1, poundering, and count 2, living from the earnings of a prostitute? And do you understand those charges? Have you discussed them with your lawyer? How do you plead to the charges in the amended information? Are you pleading guilty pursuant to the Alford decision? Okay. Are you entering into this plea today freely and voluntarily? Has anyone threatened or coerced you into entering into this plea? Other than what's contained in this guilty plea agreement, has anyone made you any promises to get you to enter into this agreement? I have before me a guilty plea agreement. Did you read it? And you signed it? And you read it before you signed it? And were all your questions answered to your satisfaction by your lawyer prior to signing it? Do you have any questions of the court regarding this agreement? You understand what the range of punishment is for these offenses? You understand as to count 1, you are facing 1 to 4 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections, as well as a $5,000 fine. Is it the same on count 2 as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you understand you're facing 1 to 4 years, as well as a $5,000 fine on count 2 as well. So you understand you're facing 2 to 8 years, basically. Any questions about that? You understand that sentencing is completely within my discretion, that no one can make you any promises regarding what I will do at the time of sentencing. Has anyone made you any promises? You also understand that you're giving up all your trial rights by entering into this plea today? You understand that you have a right to a speedy and public trial, that if this matter went to trial, the state would be required to prove each and every element of the charges against you by proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to testify, to remain silent, to have others come in and testify for you, to be confronted by the witnesses against you and cross-examine them, to appeal any conviction to the Nevada Supreme Court, and to be represented by counsel throughout all stages of the proceedings. Do you understand all these rights? You understand you're giving them up by entering into this plea today. And you've entered into this plea pursuant to the Alford decision, is that correct? And you've made a determination that is in your best interest to enter into that type of plea, is that correct? And one of the reasons that you've decided to do that is to avoid going to trial and facing a more harsh penalty if you were convicted of the more serious charges, is that correct? One of the charges carrying a life sentence, is that correct? So you've discussed this with your lawyer and you believe this is in your best interest. And you understand that you will have a conviction for 2 felonies. And that although you're not admitting guilt, that I'll be relying upon the statements by the Deputy District Attorney as well as the arrest report in determining whether there's a factual basis for this plea. Do you understand that? Do you have any questions about that? Can the state tell me what you failed to prove did go to trial?
Your Honor, were this matter to go to trial, the state would prove beyond a reasonable doubt that between January and April of 2008, the defendant did routinely pander Lakeisha Jordan, then age 14, as well as Ms. Harper, who is an adult. He sent them out to various areas in Clark County, had them prostitute for him, and returned the funds to him. In addition, he routinely had sex with the 14-year-old Lakeisha Jordan. She has now had his child. Paternity would be proved should we proceed to trial.
I don't know if he said this, but the money came back to him and he was living off of their earnings.
That's correct, Your Honor. They would routinely return the money earned from prostitution to Mr. Gilmore.
And that's how he was paying his bills.
Correct.
Okay. You understand that I'll be relying upon what the DA just said in determining that there is a factual basis for your plea. Do you understand that? Do you have any questions? This time I am going to accept your plea, make a finding that you've entered into it freely and voluntarily. You understand the nature of the charges and the consequences of your plea. This time I'm going to refer the matter to P&P and set it down for sentencing.
May 19th, 8:30.
Thank you, Judge.
And trial date is vacated.
Your Honor, please call the Gilmore matter on page 9.
Nevada versus Philip Gilmore, C2445542. I thought he's present, he's in custody. You wanted to send some more information to me, and I didn't give anything additional. Okay, anything you want to say?
I don't
in
want
relation to his bail?
I do not want to belabor that which is contained in the motion. Obviously, as you can see by the letters, Mr. Gilmore does have strong ties to the Las Vegas community. The letters paint a much different picture than these allegations might cause someone first to assume regarding Mr. Gilmore. He's a young man, never been in any trouble until this case, as well as a few other matters, came up all in the springtime of this year. I can inform the court that I believe all of those other matters which were previously holding him in custody have been disposed of. All of them have been either reduced to credit for time served in a misdemeanor, or they were outright dismissed at the preliminary hearing level. This is, I believe, the one remaining case that's currently holding him, and we are requesting a bail reduction as listed in the motion.
Your Honor, Summer Clark for the state. We're opposing any OR today. The defendant is facing 7 felony counts, including 2 very serious sexual assault with a minor under the age of 16. The other counts, the other charges and other cases that he had were dismissed or negotiated, the state feels, because they involved the same type of victims, where these are prostitutes who worked for the defendant. He had a battery domestic violence. He had a robbery where he grabbed her purse and pushed her. So, of course, the state's going to face a challenge in bringing them to court and having them testify against the defendant. Most of them are not cooperative and don't want to testify against him, and that's the reason for those other cases. The defendant in this case prostituted out a 14-year-old. We're not talking about a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old. She's 14. Currently, she's pregnant. She's in a group home here in Las Vegas. We know where she is. We have contact with her. She's willing to cooperate, and we also have contact with the other victim in this case. The trial date is only a couple of weeks away, Judge. I think we can get this case done in a few days. We ask that he remain in custody. Despite the letters from the church and the fact that he had a great upbringing doesn't change the fact that he's a pimp. and that he has multiple prostitutes working for him. In this particular case, the victim describes him wearing a white suit with a maroon hat and going to the Plaza Hotel and then going to a restaurant. We have corroboration for all of that. We have the security officer at the Plaza Hotel who says, oh yeah, I saw him in a white suit and a maroon hat with 3 juveniles walking through the casino floor that I believe to be prostitutes. You know, we have the employee at the restaurant who said she saw him with 3 juveniles eating at the restaurant, which corroborates the victim. The evidence in this case against the defendant is strong. He's facing life in prison. He certainly has reason to run. We would ask that he remain in custody.
And Your Honor, we also are faced with victims here who consistently change their story. The allegations regarding the sexual assault counts did not arise until the second setting of the preliminary hearing in this case, when all of a sudden the alleged victim decided to mention it after, I believe, 3 or 4 separate interviews. It was, I believe, her 4th interview with investigators that she first referenced any sort of contact of this sort with Mr. Gilmore. So obviously that calls into question her credibility as well as the credibility of many other witnesses in this case. But I realize this isn't the time to actually try the matter. This is the time to determine whether or not Mr. Gilmore's bail should be modified. And again, based upon, while they are very serious charges here, based upon his strong ties to the community and his lack of a criminal record, we are requesting a bail reduction at this point in time.
Okay, at this time, the request is denied.
Your Honor, I also have the Gilmore matter. It's not a calendar call. It's a sentencing on page 11, if we could go forward with that.
State Nevada versus Philip Gilmore, C2 44542. This is a date and time set for entry of judgment and imposition of sentencing. Sir, is there any legal cause or reason why judgment should not be pronounced against you at this time? Any reason why we should not proceed with sentencing, sir? By virtue of your pleas entered in this matter, I hereby adjudicate you guilty of count 1, pandering, and count 2, living from the earnings of a prostitute. State wish to address the court?
Thank you, Your Honor. We do. The state has Jennifer Harper here. She was a victim of one of those cases. She was noticed as a the state would request that she address the court last. I do additionally have a victim impact statement from her describing the injury she brought with her this morning. Didn't get it back to the Department of Parole and Probation in time. Basically, what we're going to ask for is $200 for her counseling, as she has mentioned, and then we're going to ask for an additional $500 because most of Jennifer's items that she had and that she lived on were with the defendant when he was arrested. She doesn't have receipts or anything to show that. I mean, she's actually claiming losses of more than $20,000 in regard to a relation with the defendant, but I explained to her the $200 for the counseling and then $500 just to pay for some of the, clothes and accessories that she lost as a result of her relationship with him, a work relationship with him. That's what we're requesting. In reviewing Parole and Probation's report, Judge, it seems as though one of the reasons why they're recommending probation is because this is the defendant's first felony conviction. But the state submits that the department loses sight of 2 important things. One is that the defendant had 2 other felony cases, battery domestic violence case and another pandering case that were dismissed during the prosecution of this case. And 2, a lot of times with pandering or sexual abuse cases, the defendants don't have a criminal history. And that's certainly not a reason to say, hey, they don't have a record, so let's go ahead and give them probation because they deserve a chance. The state's going to request something that may be viewed by some as unconventional, certainly I'm sure by Mr. Gilmore, but we're requesting a 19 to 48 on count 1, and we're also requesting a 12 to 30 on count 2, and we're asking that those run consecutive. We feel that's an appropriate sentence for a number of reasons. The facts and circumstances of this case certainly warrant it. The victim, Lakeisha Jordan, was 14 years old at the time of this case. The victim, Lakeisha Jordan, was 14 years old at the time of this case. The victim, Lakeisha Jordan, was 14 years old at the time of this case. She was just a child. And she was pregnant. The defendant denied having sexual intercourse with her, and yet after that baby was born, DNA was done, and sure enough, it comes back as the defendant's baby. So we have a 24-year-old man having sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old little girl. So we have a 24-year-old man having sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old little girl. So we have a 24-year-old man having sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old little girl. He's not just a pimp, Judge. He's a sex offender. He preyed on a 14-year-old girl, had sexual intercourse with her, and now has fathered a child. The second reason is he accepts absolutely no responsibility whatsoever. He denies being a pimp, which is a coincidence then that the night he's arrested, he's in a hotel room with 2 females, both of whom have multiple arrests for soliciting prostitution and loitering for the purpose of prostitution. The victim in this case was also a victim in the battery domestic violence case that he had that was eventually dismissed. And another female that he had contact with also has arrest for soliciting prostitution. So it's just a coincidence then that he keeps being found with all these women who are prostitutes, and yet he denies being their pimp. The defendant in his statement to parole and probation says that the state of Nevada was being crafty, and that's why he's in the situation that he's in. He takes no responsibility for the impact he has had on the women that he's encountered his life. Those prostitutes, these women that he's turned into prostitutes, or at least encouraged them to prostitute. Not to mention the 14-year-old juvenile that he impregnated. Judge, the most important thing to pimps is getting out of jail, because that's where they make their money. He's been in custody for 397 days, and rightfully so. There's a reason that he's been in jail. We're asking that he stay in. He preyed on this 14-year-old little girl and had intercourse with her. 14-year-old little girl and had intercourse with her. But what does he tell you is his main concern? Getting out so he can get on with his music career. That's what's important to this defendant, not fathering or supporting the child that he just had with this 14-year-old. All of those things together, Judge, warrant a 19 to 48 and a 12 to 30 consecutive. We think the probation recommendation by the division is wholly inappropriate in this case, and we're going to submit it on that.
You want to say anything, Mr. Gilmore?
First, I would like to say what she failed to mention was Ms. Lakeisha Jordan lied about her age with false identification, which she admits in the interview that she said she was 19. Not only did she lie about her age with false identification, and she admitted that, there's cooperative statements along with Mrs. Harper and Mrs. Morton also saying that she said that she was 19. So I judged her on her consciousness to even allow her to even come in the same environment. It must have been something I said, or must have been something that I've done to make her assume that she couldn't be around me and say that she was 14. So that's why she had to lie about her age. What she also failed to bring up was the case with the domestic violence and the other pandering, and these so-called alleged victims in this case are of age, 19, 23, 22. I don't mess with kids. I'm not no sex offender.
14-year-old little girl and had intercourse with her. 14-year-old little girl and had intercourse with her. 14-year-old little girl and had intercourse with her.
You know, I don't mess with children. That's number one.
The defendant denied having sexual intercourse with her, and yet after that baby was born, DNA was done, and sure enough, it comes back as the defendant's baby. So we have a 24-year-old man having sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old little girl. So we have a 24-year-old man having sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old little girl. So we have a 24-year-old man having sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old little girl.
As far as the pandering goes, the definition according to the state was to entice a woman to become a prostitute or get into a continuity of it. I did neither. She sat up there and she said when they asked her, first of all, they had an interview with no parent, no guard, and no lawyer there, so they were able to basically coach the girl all throughout 3 interviews with her. Which everything is contrary one to another. And they asked her, they said, well, what did he say to entice you to get into prostitution? He really didn't say anything. And what she also failed to bring up was that Mrs. Jordan has been engaged in prostitution, well, at least she professed that she had, since the age of 12 years old. So if she's been prostituting since the age of 12 years old, then she's already an actress. That's what she does. She's a manipulator. She lied to me. And as far as the living of the earnings of prostitution, she professes that she gave the money to Mrs. Harper. Mrs. Harper says that she gave the money to Mrs. Morton. Mrs. Morton says that I wasn't a pimp, and she never gave me any money. So the money never even made it to my hand.
Hey, you had sex with her because the baby's yours. No. That's the only way you get a baby with your DNA is you have sexual intercourse. Lesson number 1. You don't get pregnant by looking at somebody. So you need to stop that nonsense right now. You can't get pregnant? I mean, do I have to explain that to you? How you get pregnant?
I understand.
Okay.
I understand since I already have a child. But at the same time, even with that, Mrs. Level, all I would say is all that would have been prevented if she would have said her real age.
Okay, that's fine, but don't say that that's not your baby. There's a DNA test. Did they do a buccal swab of your client?
They did, Your Honor, and we did receive the results from the DNA test. Obviously, we had to wait until the infant was born, or the child was born, before we could conduct any of these tests. I believe the child was born
So it wasn't like
sometime in January.
They got your DNA, they got the girl's DNA, they got the baby who's born. What are the statistics that it's his baby? What are the statistics that it's not his baby? 1 in 400 billion?
Something like that, Judge.
Okay, that's more than there are people on the earth. So it's your baby. Okay.
Did I have a confidence level 4? I would not sit up there and
A what?
Continence of a whore.
Oh boy, you're just really helping yourself. If I was you, I'd stop. The continence of a whore. The mother of his child.
I think
The
Mr.
continence of a whore.
is trying to
because she stood up there and called me a sex offender, and everybody like, the continence of a whore.
I think Mr. Gilmore is trying to convey to the court that
He sees I don't like it, but he continues to say it.
the victim in this particular case, this was not her first rodeo. She had a very hard life well in advance of meeting Mr. Gilmore. We're not arguing that things did not get more difficult for her after. We're not arguing that things did not get more difficult for her after. We're not arguing that things did not get more difficult for her after she encountered Mr. Gilmore and they had whatever level of interaction that they did. However, again, this girl did admit in her various statements to the police that she had been working on this, essentially had been homeless and had been working as a prostitute since approximately the age of 12. So she did have a certain level of experience in these particular areas. The recommendation in this case did take into account all of the factors that the state had referenced in its argument. Mr. Gilmore did have 2 other cases, but both of those cases were dismissed. Preliminary hearings were scheduled, and witnesses either did not show, or actually I believe on 2 of the 2 cases that I'm thinking of, witnesses failed to show on both. He's been in jail for over almost 400 days now, over 13 months, because of the poor judgment he has used in the past. I realize he did not initially come across that way because he is angry and he is frustrated. No one likes to have the allegations that Ms. Clark was saying to him aired in open courts, so I can understand where he's coming from. What I'm going to ask that this court do is sentence Mr. Gilmore similar to how the state had recommended. Give him a 48-month maximum with a 19-month minimum on count 1, with a consecutive 32-month maximum, or was it 30-month maximum, I'm uncertain, 12-month minimum on count 2. Run those 2 counts consecutive, but give him an opportunity at probation. Again, he's already done 13 months, over 13 months in the Clark County Detention Center at this point in time. Give him a fixed period of probation not to exceed, a fixed period of probation of 4 years in this case, instead of the 3 recommended here. We will find out very quickly if Mr. Gilmore is being honest when he says his main goal is to get back to his music. The state tried to characterize that as him not taking responsibility for his actions. I don't think that's appropriate. It's more appropriate that Mr. Gilmore wants to get back to his life. He has been in jail for the past over 13 months because of his own stupidity, because of his own mistakes. Obviously, he needed to make amends for those mistakes, which he has, but his goal right now is to get back and try and rebuild the life that he was trying to create for himself prior to interacting with these various individuals and placing himself in this situation. So again, I would ask for a 48-month maximum, 19-month minimum, which is the maximum on count 1, and a 32-month maximum, 12-month minimum on count 2 running consecutive, but give Mr. Gilmore an opportunity at probation to see if he is actually going to do what he promises this court that he will.
You can call your witness.
Thank you, Jennifer Harper.
And raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Can you please state your full name, spelling, and last name for the record?
Yes, my name is Jennifer Prima Donna Harper, last name Harper. First, I want to say, Your Honor, I know that this is sentencing, so I feel that he already has accepted responsibility for what he has done because he did accept guilt and plead guilt. And sentencing, this is your time, Your Honor, to judge how much he should be punished for the crimes he did commit. But right now, Judge, all you see is attorneys who don't really know him personally. You see him speaking angrily because of the accusations against him. But I have known him for over 3 years. We started off as co-workers, so I just want to give you a little insight to his character. I know that he was raised in the church. He's from Chicago, I'm from Detroit. I was one of the victims. I was one of his girls. He's from Chicago, I'm from Detroit. I was one of the victims. I was one of his girls. He's from Chicago, I'm from Detroit. I was one of the victims. I was one of his girls. Right.
You were one of his girls.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Well, like I said, it never went to trial, so I never really got to testify how I felt everything went down. But Philip and I have had a personal relationship before any working relationship came about, and I can't testify honestly here and under oath and say that he forced me into doing the actions that I did. I was a very grown woman, 23 years old when I started doing it, and I've lived in Vegas since I was 19, and I made that decision 5 years after I've lived out here to do it on my own. But I was with him at the time actually on a boyfriend-girlfriend status, and so that might be the reason why he got excited about all the money that I was bringing and wanted to bring other females around. I do remember I was there when...
He got your money?
Yeah. I do remember when Lakeisha Jordan came around. Why did he get my money? Because I loved him and I wanted to take care of him. And that's pretty much why every girl who does it... And that's the other thing I wanted to say to you, Your Honor. I've spent time in jail, and I've been around other prostitutes, and most prostitutes are broken women who have come from negative backgrounds, who feel like they've already lost everything. They've lost their children to CPS. They have no respect from other family members. So a lot of times the reason why you have a pimp is so that you can try to buy love, feel accepted, and those type of things. And as far as I just want to bring to your attention, I was around when Lakeisha Jordan came around, and she did make all of us believe that she was over 18. She actually had a false identification showing us and proving to us that she was over 18, because I actually personally requested, hey, I want to see your ID because I don't know how old you are. You seem real young. She showed me an ID that said she was...
I want to see your ID because you seem real young.
Because I actually personally requested, hey, I want to see your ID because I don't know how old you are. You seem real young. She showed me an ID that said she was...
I want to see your ID because you seem real young.
Because I actually personally requested, hey, I want to see your ID because I don't know how old you are. You seem real young. She showed me an ID that said she was...
I want to see your ID because you seem real young.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay.
But, I mean, people are crafty. She had a fake ID, so... And she was only around us for less than 48 hours. It wasn't like a long-term relationship with her, working relationship or anything like that, so...
Long enough to get pregnant.
Well, obviously. I mean, some of the things I'm still finding out myself at the last minute. But, like, I can personally attest, we got the room at the plaza the night that she came home, and the next day she was arrested. I was only actually with him on that level for about 6 weeks. So that's another thing that I want you to take in consideration with his sentencing. It's not like he's a career pimp or someone who's been pimping for all of his life. It was something that he basically just got involved in at the beginning of 2008. So did I. And I personally, I'm the victim in this case because I committed my first offense 4 years ago, and I was sentenced August 30th, 2005, and I did the same thing he did. I was mad because the victim came and she was speaking negatively. She was lying on me, things I didn't do. I personally, I'm the victim in this case because I committed my first offense 4 years ago, and I was sentenced August 30th, 2005, and I did the same thing he did. I was mad because the victim came and she was speaking negatively. She was lying on me, things I didn't do. I personally, I'm the victim in this case because I committed my first offense 4 years ago, and I was sentenced August 30th, 2005, and I did the same thing he did. I was mad because the victim came and she was speaking negatively. She was lying on me, things I didn't do, and I didn't show any remorse. The state had suggested probation, but I still ended up doing 6 months flat because of my negative attitude at my sentencing and because I didn't really understand the penal system. Now that I am older and I do have an understanding of the penal system, I feel like it's designed to punish people for their crimes, but also to rehabilitate them from them. I just got discharged for the honorable discharge from probation on May 7th, and I feel like probation does a lot more for people than incarceration, because incarceration you're taken care of, and also it actually makes your other family members suffer more because they have to pay for money for you to call them, put money on your books, write them. But probation forces you to rehabilitate yourself. That's what I did. It took me, I actually got a 5-year sentence, and I got off a year early because I got off this year. But I had to do 200 hours community service, mental health work, Gamblers Anonymous, parenting class. I also did about 3 months on house arrest after I picked up soliciting charge. But since the February... While on probation. Okay. Since February 23rd last year when I picked up the soliciting charge. In this case, if you look at the crime, it's not a major crime like he killed somebody or anything like that. In this case, if you look at the crime, it's not a major crime like he killed somebody or anything like that. In this case, if you look at the crime, it's not a major crime like he killed somebody or anything like that. They're trying to say, you know, it is a negative thing getting a 14-year-old pregnant, but it was under the pretense that she was of age. But as far as what he's done, it's not that bad of a crime. But as far as what he's done, it's not that bad of a crime. But as far as what he's done, it's not that bad of a crime. And I feel like having probation where you have a curfew and all these stipulations, pay restitution back to me, pay restitution back to me, pay restitution back to me, will actually change him. But if he just sits in jail more and more, how do you know that's actually going to change him? And that's why I feel it's your job as a judge to give the judgment that's actually not just going to punish him, but rehabilitate him. And like the defense attorney said, he already has been punished with over a year of jail. And like I said, some persons who just...
That you've gone way beyond what a victim impact statement is.
I'm sorry.
That you've gone way beyond what a victim impact statement is.
I'm sorry.
That you've gone way beyond what a victim impact statement is.
I'm sorry.
Into telling me what my job is.
I'm not trying to tell you what your job is.
Anything else you want to tell me about how this has impacted you?
Yes, like I said, right now I'm going through domestic violence and mental health counseling.
And you seem like you're doing real well. And you seem like you're doing real well. And you seem like you're doing real well.
Yes, I feel like the counseling has helped, it's changed, and also the things that I had to go through with probation has changed me. And well, I would say it took a year to straighten out my life. That's why I can personally attest to probation really changing you and helping you stabilize your life, because that's what it's for. And that's what I want as a victim.
And you seem like you're doing real well. And you seem like you're doing real well.
And that's what I want as a victim. And that's what I want as a victim. And that's what I want as a victim. Because he does have another child that he hasn't seen that's a year old. I just found out today about this one, because he does have another child that he hasn't seen that's a year old. I just found out today about this one, because he does have another child that he hasn't seen that's a year old. I just found out today about this one. But that's what has been my goal and my focus is my daughter. And you can't do nothing for your kids when you're in prison. Nothing.
Thank you very much for your statement.
Thank you.
Step down. Got it? Okay, and how much restitution were you requesting total?
$700, Judge.
In accordance with the law of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you as follows. Initially $25 administrative assessment, $150 DNA fee. I'm going to order that you submit to genetic marker testing. At this time, as to count one, the court's going to sentence you to 18 to 48 months. Nevada Department of Corrections is to count two, 12 to 32 months to run consecutive to count one. He has 397 days credit for time served. We're going to impose $700 in restitution.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yo, A.A. Rashid is with Griselda? Oh, it's that time to start robbing niggas now. If I jack polite for them cars, you know how he go. He stunting rentals. I might get knocked by the repo. Plus he snitching. That's new cars and probation. I'ma have to rob Sinetta old ass for them YouTube donations. Once I start robbing niggas, you gon' see the bitch come out rich. He gon' try to hide behind Cambada and Professor Griff. For real. Add more niggas to the pot, it's how you spoil thieves. I'm taking Cam CD money and Soleil royalties. Rich gon' try to call the pills over this pistol shit. But that's only gon' get them niggas robbed for all that crystal shit. Rich gon' call Supernova next, but I can handle the ball. I wait for him to go OT and sneak rob his store. I ain't tussling with that nigga, he got a couple screws loose. King Simon is a puppy, he the conscious blues clues. Nah, he a big dog and the elder, so I'm sorry, bro. But you and Lloyd laying down for that numerology, though. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son. Shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son. Shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. Mama Pill gon' call me on the phone like Inky, what's up? I'ma just rush her off the phone and send her a cut. I hope Rizzy 19 and Ben don't think I'm funny. I'm tying them Muslim niggas up for that bean pie money. We kidnapping Wesley for ransom like a movie. He got it. Farrakhan fuck around and say keep him. We got Nuri Muhammad, Billy Carson, brand new, building his bag. But I'm a pistol whip that nigga. He be stealing my swag. If you waiting for me to rob Unc and Chief, you don't know streets. It's way too much heat trying to rob the police. Now when I catch Jabari slipping, you gon' think I'm tripping. I'm giving my Israelites the description. Get everything Egyptian. Robbing Curtis Court easy. He's still on Cosby Pudding. I'm robbing Black Dot for IP and antique video footage. We kicking in Garfield door looking for finance profit. But we ain't find nothing but 2 butter programs in his closet. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son. Shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son. Shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. I'm thinking Professor Smalls get it too. His pocket's large enough, but that nigga wow. He wound up robbing Jack Hassan Luxury V. I robbed Jack Frost and Queens Flip with they interviewee. Jack Frost said, yo, we family. How you get me? You know how shit be. I ain't want Flip to think you was with me. We got pulled over, somebody snitching. From my perspective, I did a double take. Oh shit, Bro Sanchez the detective. We had to bail out, nigga. I couldn't believe shit. So we caught Shaka for 10K and extensions and weed kits. I saw St. Cole for on 2/5 with Smack Lux and Mook. I robbed them niggas and gave Party Artie family half the loot. Reggie was crying when he saw the iron like, ayo, chill. I caught 20 pounds of DMT from Gano Grills. I tried to rob Cyrus suit and said he pointing the gun barrel. But he ain't have nothing in his crib but pictures of young Pharaoh. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son, shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son, shit get different when the rabbit got the gun.
Shoulda had you tripping like you be bugging like. Y'all thought these niggas was conscious, these niggas wild, these niggas violate niggas, they scamming, grabbing, buddy. Yo, niggas out here grabbing pussies like Trump. Niggas got whole prostitutes on their YouTube pages and all that. Yo, this shit getting crazy out here. Somebody gotta do something about this shit, you know what I'm saying? What is going on right now? This shit wild out here, man. This shit like the wild, wild west out here, you know what I mean? Like, niggas doing anything to anybody out here, man. There gotta be some repercussions.
Umar, don't think we forgot about you. You heard? Make sure that money go on them school books and them school chairs and all that. You know what I'm talking about? The first little Debbie you purchase, we coming to get the rest of that bread, B.
Scottsdale Police. Scottsdale Police. We're looking for Jason. Scottsdale Police. Jason is not here.
Okay.
Not here? No. Who are you? I'm Philip. Philip?
Come outside and talk to me real quick, Philip.
Why do I have to step outside of my house to talk?
Okay.
Jason's not here.
I need you to come talk to me.
How?
Is this?
Who? No.
Well, do me a favor, man.
Wait a minute. Do you even have a search?
Sir.
No,
Listen to me. Listen to me for a second.
I'm already having a conversation. I said
okay.
Jason's not here.
Listen to me for a second. We have to do a check welfare. Do you understand that?
Miss,
can you come outside and talk to me real quick? Excuse me.
You don't have to step outside of the house. Now, I know the law. No laws have been broken.
Hey, look, my man, I'm not talking to you. Okay?
No laws have been
do me a favor. Do me a favor. Step aside. Step aside and allow that young lady to come out and talk to me. That's all we're going to do. That's all I need you to do. Come out and talk to me real quick. Okay, step aside and let her come on out. She's a grown woman; she can do that.
Okay, so how did you go?
You can't talk to her. She can come out. She can come out if she wants to. Okay.
Well, first of all, number one, this is my house.
I got you. But she wants to. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't close the door. I'm telling you right now. Come on out here right now.
What is your name?
Out here. And you talk to my partner.
I talk to who?
You can talk to my partner in a little bit, okay?
Well, first of all,
just relax.
Neighborhood.
Okay. You can talk to my partner. Is there any weapons or anything inside the house we should know about?
Come on.
Okay. Come on out over here.
I'm not easy being manipulated.
Miss. Come here. Come talk to me. What's going on?
I just want to get the fuck out of here with my things. He's not letting me go. He has my phone, and he's already beat me.
He's already beaten you? Where did he hit you? Okay, you're back into this. Okay.
Please,
okay.
Can you just
what's going on today?
I want to leave back to Tennessee, and he's not letting me.
He's not letting you? All right, Philip, man. Let me talk. Can I talk to you real quick, man? You mind sitting down so I can talk to you about what's going on tonight, man?
Okay, now you can talk to me.
Okay. Do me a favor. Do you have anything in your pocket that you
want? I don't have anything.
Okay.
Would you like me to take everything?
No, you can just put that on the glass table. What's going on today, man? She says that you guys were talking, arguing from yesterday. She came back from the airport. She has a bruise on her side. What's going on with that?
Well, number one, I didn't put the bruise there.
You didn't put the bruise there?
No.
Okay. Well, what's going on today?
What do you mean?
Why is the TV up so loud?
I didn't know the TV was live.
Where were you guys at earlier before we came here?
Where?
Before we knocked on the door, where were you guys at? Were you in the living room or in the bedroom?
Why?
The questions I'm asking.
No, I'm saying why.
Well, so this is how it works. I ask the questions to see if you get answers. You don't ask why. I'm asking questions to get.
But I'm asking why.
Okay, well,
I can't get a revelation unless I say why.
I'm asking where you were specifically before I came to the door. I was asking whether you were in the living room or in the bedroom.
Okay, but I'm saying why.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on today. That's why.
Going on today?
Yes, tonight.
Hey,
well,
Phil.
as of right now it's midnight, so no.
Phil, real quick, you know how I talked to you before about,
See, me and you are cool.
Right.
Bitch, what? Bitch, what?
But see, he tried to be on the other
No, I
side.
understand that, but you know how you,
See, me and you are cool.
right.
Bitch, what? Bitch, what?
But see, he tried to be on the other
No, I
side.
understand that, but you know how you,
Like, I'm like,
hold on, Phil, let me talk about it.
I'm not
I'll
gonna be
tell you what's going
aggressive.
on.
If he wants to arrest, he can arrest. Like, if he
Let me
wants
tell
to
you
do
what's going
whatever,
on real quick.
medium.
So here's the deal, so now we're kind of at that threshold where an investigation has opened up, and you need to answer the questions in order for us to decide if anybody is going to go to jail or not. So it's better to be honest, and then two, we have to there's certain things that you have to give us, or else you'll go to jail automatically, like your personal information. So now when I ask you for your date of birth, you have to give it to me, because...
Well, I mean, no disrespect.
Okay.
But I didn't hear the conversation.
Okay.
So by me not hearing that conversation,
right,
I don't even know what's been conveyed to me.
Well, that's why we're trying to talk to you and get your side.
For all I know, that he's basically just talking.
Right.
So when I asked him why isn't that he couldn't give me a logical reason as to why? Like me, when I see the police, I don't feel any fear.
Right.
Like I've seen enough death in my life. Like you.
Okay. Hey, we just want to know what's going on tonight. All right.
And I just said nothing.
Okay. There's an argument that's going on. That's why we're here.
Me and you have an argument, but
we're not having an argument.
military.
We're not having an argument. I don't have arguments.
You were loud.
Okay.
Outside.
That's fine.
And you embarrassed me.
Okay. Do me a favor. Go ahead and turn around for me. Place your hands behind your back. Right now, you're under arrest for assault. All right. You're going to be held and you're going to see a judge for what you did today, okay? And yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, we'll lock up the residence. We'll secure it for you.
Here you go. Thank you.
Okay.
It's your personal property. We're getting people out to come out. And do you have access? Are you allowed to be here? Do you have access to the home? Do you have a key?
No, he never gave me a key.
Okay, so are you on the lease?
No.
Okay, so you don't have any standing. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to leave his house.
Yes.
Okay, so just get what you came here with.
Okay.
And that's it, nothing more.
Yeah, I don't want anything.
And I need to know what you're taking from.
Okay, do you want to come?
Yeah.
So this section was my section, so obviously...
We're just taking whatever you came here with.
This is what I came here with. Like, this is what I'm packing.
Okay.
These are my shoes. Obviously, you can tell they're not his.
Right.
So these are my clothes. This is my jewelry.
Okay.
Like...
That's your stuff.
Yeah, this is all my stuff. It's all girl stuff. Like,
okay.
Yeah, you can tell it's not... Nothing is his. I don't want his stuff.
Okay.
Sir, your full legal name? My name is Philip Brandon Gilmore. The state is charging with the following offenses: assault, a Class 3 misdemeanor, domestic violence, disorderly conduct, a Class 1 misdemeanor, domestic violence. They've now filed count 3, a assault, Class 1 misdemeanor, domestic violence. These type of offenses, sir, carry the following maximum and minimum penalties: up to 6 months in jail in a Class 1, up to 4 months in jail in a up to 30 days in jail in a Class 3. Fine, sir, $2,500 on a Class 1, $500 on a Class 3. All fines are subject to an 83% surcharge. Probation is 3 years on a Class 1, 1 year on a Class 3. Minimum penalty for these offenses is charged, sir, is a domestic nonviolence counseling course. Sir, do you have any questions as to the minimum or maximum penalties? With the prices that you just conveyed, what is the bill in totality? I haven't got to that yet, sir. Okay. Now, sir, you have the following rights. You have the right to plead not guilty. You have the right to trial by jury, if any, or trial to the court. You have the right to the assistance of an attorney at all stages of the proceedings, and in certain cases, sir, to an appointed attorney to be furnished free of charge if you cannot afford one. You have the right to confront witnesses against you and to cross-examine them as to the truthfulness of their testimony. You have the right to present evidence on your own behalf, sir, and have the state compel witnesses that you're choosing to appear and testify. Finally, sir, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you and to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Sir, do you have any questions as to your rights? No, sir. Okay, then I'll put that you've been arraigned. I will enter not guilty on your behalf. We'll set this to a pretrial conference. It'll be your next court date. We'll give you that court date in writing. You must be present at that date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Sir, I'm now going to decide if you get out of jail and if so, under what circumstances. First, I'll hear from the prosecutor, and then you'll have the opportunity to tell me anything you want me to know prior to my making that decision. State?
Your Honor, the state is asking for a $5,000 bond in this case. The defendant had, on this particular occasion, had some pretty serious quotes that were relayed to officers by the victim. You know I'm going to beat you right after I get what I want from you. When the officers arrived, the victim told officers, he's not letting me go, and he's already beaten me. She lifted up her shirt to reveal bruising up and down the right side of her torso, a scratch on her chest below her collarbone, and then she indicated to officers that this had happened 3 days prior as well, when he hit her in the face multiple times with an open hand. So the state has serious concerns for victim safety and has not been able to reach the victim at this time, so would like to ensure her protection in this particular case. And although the state cannot see the disposition of the charges because they are out of state in Nevada, it does appear that the defendant has to register as a sex offender and has been charged with not doing that multiple times, although the state can't see the disposition of those particular cases. It does appear that the defendant has to register as a sex offender and has been charged with not doing that multiple times, although it does appear that the defendant has to register as a sex offender and has been charged with not doing that multiple times. It does appear that the defendant has to register as a sex offender and has been charged with not doing that multiple times. Additionally, the defendant wasn't even able to tell the officers what the victim's name was. He said, "I call all my girls babies."
The sex offender thing, that was a false allegation, and that's why I'm not incarcerated in incarceration currently right now, because they had me mixed in the system with somebody else. You do not see me doing any time for any failures to register. I've done nothing with no children. So you can check in with the state of Nevada about that. And when the police even arrived on the scene, there was nothing physically about her countenance or appearance that indicated that I had even shook her hand. I was arrested simply because the probable cause was basically what she said. And if a woman is saying that something transpired, it's incontestable to the police that, it happened. But that was the only probable cause.
Sir, the police list your criminal record as abuse, neglect, endangered child, pandering, living from the earnings of prostitute, 2 counts, battery, domestic violence, 2 counts, failure to register as sex offender, 2 counts, failure to register as sex offender, 2 counts, failure to register as sex offender, 2 counts, pandering, furnishing, transport child, pandering a child.
How you doing, Sinful?
Man, this the man right here, man. So, I decided to go live on my phone, so I'm on 4%. So y'all already know who Sonetta is. Most of them people that y'all like and be loving on, you wouldn't even probably know nothing about them if it wasn't for Sonetta. Whether you like them or not, you have to admit, you understand me, who gave them the foundation. Some of them platforms that y'all like, it would have never got created if it had not been for Sonetta. So it is what it is.
Let me first say this, brother. I definitely appreciate you. It's like you've been around. It's like you've been here before with the wisdom, and you're a young man. You're a young brother. And I watched you spit that knowledge. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, where you was talking about the conscious community is just like the street or just like the church. And I'm going to tell you, brother, you right on point. You on it. I'm getting ready to go live right now. I took a couple of clips, and I want the people to see that, because I felt that you was talking directly to me. And I needed to hear that when you was talking about we react too quick. We get emotional. Some of us, we get so emotional that we respond out of our emotions. And I felt that was deep right there. The way you went into it and the way you broke that down. You didn't see me in the chat room,
No, I didn't see you. I didn't see you until Paulina had told me that Brother Sai had came, and I was like, did Sai Netta give acknowledgement? But he also, you know what I mean, went live and he spoke on it and he apologized to the people because of what was being said.
And brother, if I wouldn't have watched that, I mean, it was because of your message. And so I'm laying in the bed with my wife. My phone clicks, you know, because when you get a message, even when you get messages on YouTube, my phone would ring. My phone would bleep, bleep, you got a message. So I look at the message and I see hating ass Negroes. Yo, you got to use other people besides the P and this. I said, bruh, yo, you can't look at who's giving the message. You got to listen to the message. Is he right or is he wrong? I say the brother right. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the message.
Right.
You see, a dope fiend could come and tell you something. And if you don't take heed to what the dope fiend is telling you, you'll walk around the corner and get your head blown off because you're like, oh, that's a dope fiend. Don't worry about it. He's telling us don't go around the corner. And they will go around the corner and get their head smoked because they disrespecting the dope fiend. You see what I'm saying? You got to listen to the message when the message is out there. And brother, you gave a good message, and that's what made me go live and apologize to my people for getting caught up in my emotions. I said to myself, I said, God damn it, I acted like a bitch that day. And God damn it, I ain't gonna think like that no more. I got caught up in the myself. I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I never act like a bitch that day. Let me get about this shit and be real with this shit. So, you know, sometimes it's each one teach one to reach one. You know what I'm saying? We men on this shit. You know, so man, I want to say, brother, I appreciate you. And I learned a lot from you. I tapped into your channel too, here and there, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready to go live in a few minutes and I'm going to play some of your messages that you dropped for the family, for the people, brother.
Brother, I appreciate that, and I definitely, Sai Netta was such a blessing that when he had did the video pertaining to the discord that was transpiring between Brother Ben X and Young Pharaoh, he also not only played clips from my video, but put my name also in the title so people would have an opportunity to know who I am. So, you know what I mean? So people would have an opportunity to know who I am. So, you know what I mean? So people would have an opportunity to know who I am. So, you know what I mean?
But one of the individuals, you know, that's been constantly speaking down on me, lying on me, slandering my name, not only is this individual, I already knew he wasn't this because I know him. But not only are you doing things contrary to the game, but you're accepting women who have herpes and had enough integrity to tell you that you have herpes.
Bitch, what? Bitch, what?
So, you know, one thing I want these young pimps to know, that contrary to what these guys is telling you, we do not accept any woman with a sexually transmitted disease, especially being incurable, okay? If that woman has herpes, somebody said, well, you know, it's all type of herpes. Listen, I ain't messing with nan type. You know what I mean? I don't have no preference with the type. Like them, I ain't got no type. Sinful ain't got no type. I'm not messing with no types of herpes. Because, like I told you guys, you know, just going back to that situation, the young woman that I had got herpes from, you know what I mean, was a young lady, you know what I mean, that, you know, some of y'all remember, you know what I mean, in the beginning of my career, you know, hold on for a minute.